shins, with our shins, with our shins. When the crowd gets fussy, when the floor gets dusty, when your blade gets rusty, with our shins, with our shins. When your broom smells funny, when a hex takes your money, what's gonna save you, honey? Just with our shins, with our shins. All you witches and all you old magicians, it's time to start listening to with our shins, with our shins.
I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. Stop the things you do. What's up? I ain't lying. Yeah, I can't stand. Woo! No running around. I can't stand. No putting me down. I put a spell on you. Because things you do. Without, I ain't lying. Oh, oh, I love you. I love you. I love you anyhow. I don't care if you don't want me. I'm yours right now. I'll put a spell on you. Because you're mine.
Lord, I wonder what's got the matter with time and old town. Everywhere I look, you know, everything don't change when I'm holding my hand. Lord, I'm trying to make you understand. You know, everybody tell me somebody don't do the voodoo man. You know, I buzz your elevator, baby, but it's running slow. I think I buzz your elevator up to the third floor when I'm holding my hand. Lord, I'm trying to make you understand. You know what? Everybody tell me somebody don't do the voodoo man. All right, y'all know. I tell you one more time, honey, I ain't gonna tell you no more. Next time I tell you, I might just have to let you go, but I'm holding my hand. Lord, I'm trying to make you understand. You know, somebody tell me, somebody don't hoodoo the hoodoo man.
Oh, going way back in the archives on Widdershins Radio. Widdershins. Radio for your spiritual side. A twisted approach to the left-hand path and all of the paths in between. And I think we missed last week because we had an internet outage.
Was that
We were
day.
planning to be here, but our guest back then couldn't make it. That's our guest getting out of his car, I think.
Oh, okay. I was totally alarmed by that. But okay.
Anyway, I think he's getting out of his car, so that he'll be set up.
Yep. I'm good.
We're here.
So what
with
were you saying about last week?
Last week we couldn't be here because the internet went out all
Oh,
damn night.
That sucked.
I don't know, for like a huge
That
portion of
sucked.
the town. It was bad. 2 bars of cell service to
I actually
anything.
think it was only in the portion of our portion of New Orleans.
But I'm telling you, when I went out to pick the kid up, there was Cox cable all the way to his school. There was trucks out working on shit, so it seemed like
But
a
then
pretty
remember
major
they
thing.
had internet at Poland.
Maybe it didn't go that far. Yeah. At any rate, we wish we could have been here. We really didn't have a whole lot to say. We were going to bitch about Roe versus Wade, but we'll always bitch about that. But our guest last week couldn't make it anyway, so you didn't really miss anything. We've got. I'm going to try not to say Hoodoo Brujo. Tio Brujo, formerly known as Hoodoo Brujo.
It's Tio Brujo
from
now.
TikTok. Yes,
Okay.
he changed it.
Yes.
But now here's the thing. Now before he even jumps in there, he took the name Hoodoo Brujo to honor our dear friend Hoodoo Sen Moise.
I know.
And he got grief
Oh, is that what happened?
on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, is
And
that why you
so
changed
much
it?
so.
Oh,
now
wow.
it's
Yeah.
Tio
Wow.
_ Brujo
That's
on
crazy.
TikTok. And the oddest thing is the Tio Brujo a new account? Because
No,
I suddenly
it's the
wasn't
same account.
following you.
No, it's the same account. I think TikTok has been on some shit because I had to refollow like 6 people today that I used to follow. So
And I've done that, and I've got to say, the majority of the times that it's happened have been African American creators. Suddenly, like Afro Spiritual. Suddenly, I'm not following Mama Sunfire. Suddenly, not following her. And then now you. Because I actually saw you on Venting Karen Witch, and I thought I was on your page because it was just her posting one of your videos.
It's so cute how you guys have like your insider stories and drama and people you all know.
Well,
And
we've got-
I'm not on TikTok,
Yeah.
so I just sit there like, oh wow.
Yeah. So, anyway, Tio Brujo from TikTok
Yes.
is our guest tonight. And Marta, you guys haven't met, but she hears you in the background.
Yeah, I know
Our
who you
mean
are.
gay
and I
best
hear
friend.
her.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love mean gay best friends.
Yes.
So
Tio Brujo, Hoodoo Brujo, known by many names, hated by many.
Yeah.
So
I think all of your gay friends are the mean gay best friends.
yeah.
Moise definitely was. The nicest
Yeah.
guy.
As most of us are.
Yeah. Until you
That's a good point.
rub him the wrong way.
or the right way.
That's what I was thinking.
So we've had a few now. We've had 2 Witches of TikTok shows. So I think our listeners are getting an idea what's out there. But for every subculture within the general subculture of magic, there's a hashtag. And if you use that hashtag on your videos, that becomes like your community. I still use the Witches of TikTok, which is ancient as fuck. I guess was pre-Witch Talk. I still use Witch Talk, even though it's a toxic environment. But I'm trying to be a positive influence. I don't know. Eventually,
For once in your life.
there'll be some effect somewhere down the road. As long as I stay at it, TikTok jail long
I
enough.
love your ambitions.
I've got an ideal utopian fantasy. I'm thinking. But Tio,
Well, I love that for you.
how long you been on TikTok? I'm sure I've been following you most of the time.
Yep. So I actually it'll be a year next month. So I joined apparently right before all this weird, crazy shit went down. When I joined right when witch talk started becoming very toxic. So yeah, it's been about a year.
Okay. Wait, which weird shit was that?
Apparently, like something with like the 5 and something about some 5 people, and all these people were involved, and there was like IP addresses being leaked.
Oh wow!
And I think that's when Venting Karen Witch and ASM started their war. I think it started right around that time.
Yeah. So now, people have called Widdershins the Jerry Springer of the occult, because we have done this before there was TikTok. We were covering witch wars, gossip that people did not want us to fucking talk about, all the way back to, like, we covered VK Venomum, and now he's a TikTok guy, and he does it. Yeah. He was the guy where there was the other guy. It was like they were posting videos back and forth that they were going to show up on this day and this time at this park, and they were going to fight. Okay. And he was challenging him to a fight, and the VK was... So it's like, that's how I came across the guy, and that's why I still can't pronounce...
He was a guest?
No, we just fucking yanked the videos off of fucking YouTube.
The TMZ of the spiritual community.
Yeah, we yanked it off of YouTube. We made it a story. He heard about it. Okay. He responded, and we went back and forth about some shit. And then eventually I ran into him on TikTok and going, hey, here's that guy on YouTube that was going to fight that guy. I was like, did he ever show up? He said no. But I still was never familiar with his work on YouTube. We never watched another of his videos, just the one that we exploited. And same shit on TikTok. I have watched his videos on TikTok. He's even fighting with some of the same people. He's fighting with ASM. Martin knows who ASM is. Yeah, everybody?
Yeah.
That's a sleepless mind. I don't want to give her any fucking press.
That pinche güera. Sorry. I'm just saying in Spanish.
There are certain people on TikTok that are known for just being toxic. And, TikTok can be a very toxic environment. There's no safe space. Don't go on there if you need a safe space. But there's certain people that always did that. Like, I don't even know whatever happened to Princess Bodnod. But I kind of associate. I don't know who that is. I kind of wonder, looking way back, if it's ASM. She posts as other people and stuff. But yeah, there's certain people. So when I first got to TikTok, I went there because somebody on Facebook said that there's somebody out there going to curse the Fae and the moon.
Oh God! Don't play this card as if I don't like the drama. Yes, you do. As creators, we like being watched. We like entertaining people. Anything we put out is going to be entertaining or informative or both. And I don't understand why we can't just be like, yeah, I like being involved in bullshit. That's fine.
Yeah. And then, on TikTok we have, there's the different political wings. And, we try and stay off the patriot wings and stuff. And then, there was like a patriot. He was going to sue Modern Warrior. And now we have somebody threatening to sue some witch for bad-mouthing them or some shit. And now Marta over here, she's old school corporate media. Yep. And when I met her, I was pirate media. So my friends were they were thinking, "Oh my God, you're sleeping with the enemy." But
you don't think they were saying that to me?
And I'm sure she got that at her office. Too, but there was something that I learned from her back then that I don't think I knew at the time. You cannot be, first of all, they call it slander, but people are talking about stuff that was in
we call
print.
It libel.
Yeah, there was stuff that was in print. You can't be libeled if you're a public figure.
Yep.
Right.
I think if any of these people ever actually had a lawyer...
Part of my official job was to enforce that.
Yes. and also if it's true. It's not libel or slander or anything of the kind if it's true and can be proven to be true. But if any of these people, if the witches or the patriots, all these people threatening to sue each other on TikTok ever actually make it to court with a fucking lawyer, I'm sure that's going to be an argument. I think if you throw your fucking mug on TikTok and start speaking to the fucking world, guess what, hon? You just became a public figure.
Absolutely.
And we may have to like change our definitions of that, but you're everything that you've said on the internet is now public information.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think people forget that. Like, my biggest thing is, I see a lot of this doxing stuff. Well, you leaked my name. Okay, but are you putting your name on your Instagram? Because is your Instagram hooked to your TikTok? Okay. That's not doxing, babes. Someone's redirecting information that's public.
Yep. Yeah, and all of these people want to talk about themselves so much.
Oh my God.
Their information,
their
information's out there.
Yes.
Like we know, if we went to a certain neighborhood at a certain time, we'd see a certain person walking dogs in that neighborhood because they told us. They told us.
Oh my God.
Poor dogs.
The funny thing is, me and Marta used to be dog sitters. I
was a full-time dog sitter.
But they came to our house.
Yeah.
It was like dog camp.
Yeah, I didn't do walks or like drop-ins or house sits.
And we were like the highest-rated dog sitters on the app because we're witches and dogs. Animals like this. They just like
so
this.
Me and my fiance, he's actually a farmer, and in our town we watch about 6 or 7 different houses because we live in like a farm town. So they all know him, they all trust us, and so we kind of do something similar, except we go to people's houses.
Brujos getting married to a farmer.
Yeah. Getting my Brokeback Mountain fantasy girl. Yes.
Can I ask where you live?
Yep. My God, sorry. I just hit my pen. So the smoke's in my chest. I live in a small town called Oxford. It's in Michigan. It's about 40 minutes out of Detroit. And it's it's a cute little farm town.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Didn't you think that he lived in Texas or something? Or is that something?
No, that's somebody else.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Someone we shall not name.
Oh.
Okay.
Very hush.
Secret.
It's very hush hush.
Okay.
Secret stuff. So, you do practice hoodoo.
Okay. Yeah. Believe it or not.
You're a Santa Muerte devotee.
Yes, sir.
And y'all, they have their own their own hashtag, which becomes a community. I was trying to wrap my head around that.
Just as toxic as
but I was just trying to wrap my head around that. It's like, I use these other hashtags, but y'all are in my feed. All those people are still in my feed. All the voodoo people, the Santa Muerte devotees, they're in my feed. Maybe because, we're all into occulty stuff. But
I think what it is, too, I think everyone, I would say, wants to be so, like, exclusive that in order for all of us try to create this type of community subculture within a subculture itself, that there's not much of a difference between all these different cultures. I mean, subcultures, you know what I mean?
Well, that's actually, I'm sure it led to my latest stint in TikTok jail, amongst other controversial things that I've said. But a thing that I've put out recently that just, I like to have a debate. I like to use precise words and use them for their precise meaning. When people say that hoodoo is cultural appropriation, that's always going to be incorrect because it is not the culture. It's a subculture from the culture. What you practice is a subculture of your culture. It's not the main thing. I mean, I know all old Italian ladies know how to cast the evil eye. I'm imagining most Latino old ladies know how to do that too.
And so do you.
But none of them are considering themselves Brujos and witches and stregas and shit.
No.
That's a subculture from a culture.
Right.
So if we want to have a talk about subcultural appropriation, then I'm willing to have the discussion. But I view my own, witchcraft is subcultural. Each type of witchcraft is subculture. It's not the main thing. We all have churches running everything. Even though in the church is, where all the real witchcraft is happening and shit. But
I grew up Catholic, so
yes, exactly.
If you want to talk about ritualistic witchcraft, I mean.
Well, I grew up saying, being pissed at the Catholic Church. We were originally taught that 9 million people died during the burning times. It was far less, but it still happened. It was just the math was inflated to make a point, and that's the problem. If you use faulty statistics, your entire argument gets shot down. To where some people would like to act like witches weren't persecuted, or people weren't persecuted under the charge of witchcraft everywhere on this fucking planet at one time. And we blame that on the Catholics. But then over time, I found countless what we would call occult practices that continued because they masqueraded as Catholicism. Even voodoo, that's how it survives. And then a lot of hoodoo survives by veiling itself in baptism, and then some Catholicism too. And so I just can't kind of change this. That I would like to thank the Catholic Church for providing my ancestors a convenient place to hide all those years while they were out there hunting for them.
Yeah. No, I agree, and that's how even brujeria is. Brujeria and Catholicism go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some of my most strongest workings I've done have been at the Catholic Church. So I completely understand what you're saying. We need to stop treating. We need to give respect to kind of what allowed, like you said, our ancestors to thrive. Because without that, guys, they wouldn't be able to keep the practices that they had.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you a story. Marta here went to an all-girls Catholic school in Hollywood, California. Went to school with famous people. And for the longest time, we were still receiving her newsletter from her school. And one time, around April, it was around May, I open this thing up. It looks like a newspaper, and on the front,
it was around April.
There's there's on the cover. There's a picture of these Catholic schoolgirls in their uniform dancing a maypole.
Oh God!
And now to us, I always got to refer back to the Wicker Man. The school teacher said it best. It is the image of the penis, which is venerated in religions such as ours, is symbolizing the generative force in nature. So these Catholic schoolgirls are dancing around God's penis on a fucking front page. I go, I must see more. So I read in there, and they are saying
Mary's Day.
Yeah, they call it Mary's Day, May 1st. Now, where I can find other places where Mary's Day is celebrated, it does tend to be in May. I found no place else on Earth where it was specifically May 1st, but it was Mary's Day.
I don't remember them.
Yeah, they didn't do it when Marta was a kid.
A maypole when I was going there.
But and they said it was a celebration of women, which I guess they definitely need in Catholic Church. Hey, we got Attitude Caffeinated in the chat room. All right, we got like a TikTok chat room going over here.
Oh,
hey.
Nice.
So then so you grew up Catholic as well.
Yep. So it's always funny. I kind of go back what you're saying about appropriation, because I grew up. So I was raised by my uncle, who was African American. He was from the South, and my Thea, who was there, married. So. He raised me, and it wasn't until about age 10 that I realized what we were doing in our day-to-day, because he was a hoodoo man, that it was hoodoo. So it's funny when people will say, oh, you're appropriating this. I'm like, this is what I literally was raised on. It's not like I sought it out. It's, it's funny. It's just, people assume things based on the color of my skin without even getting to know further about me. So yeah, I grew up, we were Catholic, my aunt was Catholic, my uncle was obviously a Southern Baptist, and he did hoodoo. And then, as I got older, I ended up meeting Melise, and he taught me a little bit more what he knew, and then I would say around 2025, I got into more my own family's version of brujeria, and that's around the same time that I started becoming a devotee of Santa Muerte. So, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. When I'm a lot older. When I was a kid, we had this big pile of witchcraft in the middle of the fucking table that we would just grab from, and we didn't know anything about how to figure out where anything had come from. I got all these cultural influences coming from this fucking melting pot we call America. And I bought my Witch Mother's books. I actually put them on my my Amazon influencer list when I found out they're still in print out there. And I got one, and I looked at the spells that I grew up on. And knowing what I know now, I'm looking at it and going, oh my God, there's too much hoodoo in here to extract it from the witchcraft. It's like a hoodoo that's looking at planetary timing and lunar timing and these other more ceremonial magical ideas mixed in with the fucking hoodoo. Which I actually, when I look at it, I'm going, well, I know people want to keep their magic's pure, but the moon has an influence. Whether you recognize it or not, the planets have an influence, whether you want to recognize it or not. For me, magic's a science. And in science, I want to control every variable that I can. Because in magic, there's so many variables that we're never going to know about. I want to know all the variables, like every planetary move, the lunar, where the Earth is at that particular time, all of that shit. Those are variables that I can track, and I can have some control over when I do my fucking magic. So, I think some people are just cutting themselves short by not looking at those connections. But I'm not going to argue with the hoodoo people about it. They will get mad at me.
Well, I think, honestly, I feel like a lot of people would get mad at you for a lot of things.
Yeah, I got a long history of that. It was my job for a long time.
Yeah. No, but I see what you're saying. And I think with me, like, my question is, because I feel like people... kind of how people will say, "Oh, hoodoo, voodoo." It's like, no, those are literally two different practices. But I think a lot of people even confuse like just folk magic as itself, and they automatically label it as hoodoo. I'm like, no, are you calling it hoodoo or are you calling it folk magic? Because hoodoo is a branch of folk magic, but I feel like there's the same practices of like folk magic. Like Brujeria and hoodoo are very much like twins. You know what I mean? They go very, very parallel with each other. They intersect in certain places. A lot of people don't realize this, but in Mexico, they practice hoodoo. They mix it with their brujeria. So it's kind of what you're going back to what you were saying.
Huh. Well, Marta's recently been able to get, books from her parent culture's witchcraft and paganism. It's been a long time coming, Baltic and Russian, Ukrainian paganism.
That's cool.
And I was just reading over her shoulder, and just some of the stuff that she was reading to me. It's like my mind's always about magic. I immediately make these connections. It's like she just read me the classical method of making a hoodoo mojo bag, including the odd number of ingredients that would be included in the classical hoodoo mojo bag. The only difference and some of the uses of the plants, like it was for love, and it was strawberry leaves.
Yeah, I think so.
Strawberry leaves for love, which is pretty damn common. One of the only differences that I saw is they cut up an apple and put little pieces of fruit in the mojo bag. And I've never seen that duplicated in any other version of mojo or the gris-gris or the sachet or all of the various bag magics. But the folk tended to be, peasants everywhere. Yeah. So peasants or slaves, peasants and or slaves, everywhere.
Yes,
and as such, they were down in the dirt. And my ancestors always said that that's where this all comes from. It comes from nature. It comes from observing the patterns in nature, and it somehow clicks in our head to have this magical response. The earth is very different. The cultures are very different. Nature is not. Nature's the same everywhere. So our ancestors came up with similar ideas. People are going to be pissed at each other all of the fucking time, thinking that you stole that, you stole that.
What drives... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
I'm talking way too much.
No, so what I was going to say is, and I think people forget that, like, they have to kind of look deeper at information and kind of understand the source. So any author that I read, I automatically know that that is not, like, some true form of, like, brujeria. That's not some true form of hoodoo, because there is no set book that's, like, the book of hoodoo or the book of brujeria. You know, it's based on families. It's based on what your ancestors were taught. So I think people get so caught up when they read these books. Mind you, there's some great books out there, but they think, okay, well, this is the one way to do things. Yeah. And if you're not doing it this way, then there's no other way.
I'm on this Cajun cooking page on Facebook, and don't try to ask for a gumbo recipe, because every single person they're like, well, my family, we do this, and my family, we... So, I totally get it. That it makes sense. It's like asking somebody for a gumbo recipe. Yeah. A bunch of people. Yeah.
Magic gumbo.
It's all going to be different.
Yep.
Right. And that's like why, you know, specifically for me, that's why there's so many different aspects in brujeria that even as someone who grew up doing hoodoo and having that knowledge, when I started doing brujeria, there was things that I already knew, because I was already taught it. And then I, like, dig deeper into my lineage, deeper into the history of, like, you know, Mexican people. And you come to realize that, you know, like, slaves went to Mexico, you know, and unlike fucking the North, we didn't send them back to the South. Like, we let them stay here and stay at the fiesta. So it's just funny that people are so... They worship a lot of these authors, and they view them as, like, a true source of that practice. And I think that's very dangerous.
Yeah. Well, also, like places like Haiti and Cuba, those are all mixed Latino and African, to the point where you can't trace it back anymore. And like we're in Palo. Palo's an Afro-Cuban religion. Mm-hmm. It has roots in Africa, but there's no manifestation of that religion as such in Africa. It goes to Cuba, and it mixes with all of these, mixes with Latinos too. And then, you know, eventually other slaves from other parts of Africa come over, and then Santeria kind of gets mixed in with some of their beliefs, and they kind of, you know, become joined at the hip. People don't really understand how this happened. Like, we took this history of Palo Mayombe class, and it was fascinating. Like, one portion of the class, it was tracking the slave trade, and throughout all of these years, you can see where they started in the Congo. First slaves to arrive in these islands were from the Congo and on the Americas too, and then they got into Nigeria and other places, and that's where the Santeria influence then comes in there. But it was, you know, fascinating shit that, you know, people, if you're gonna be going on and on about this stuff, you should understand, you know, Africa's not a country. There's a bunch of different countries in Africa, and each one of them had their own time when slavery was part of their thing, and then those slaves had an influence over here where they came.
And that's why, and I think people forget that it was based on the color of your skin. You know what I mean? It didn't always just... I mean, yes, a huge portion of it centralized from Africa, but, like, if they saw a darker indigenous person from, like, Cuba, a slave, like, a slave person would, like, they were taking different ethnicities that were all kind of represented under one race. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Columbus didn't search for the Americas to enslave African Americans.
Right.
He came there to South Americans. And that was entirely the purpose. Golden slaves. That was absolutely what he was commissioned to come and find. Yeah.
Yep. Well, look at that.
Look at what we just did. So you are working on a shop.
Yes. Yep. Rosa's Blessings Botanica. And the name is inspired by my abuela, who taught me a lot of her version of brujeria, and then also by Saint Rosa of Lima, who is she's a canonized folk saint, who is very big on penance and like to give a quick little background about her, she was she was very beautiful. Her mother, though, wanted her to be married off rich, and she did not. She wanted to serve the church and be a nun. Her mom would not let her go to like the nun clergy home, I guess. So she built a little hut in her yard, and her mom kept trying to force her to get married, and so she did a lot of penance to herself. So she burned her face. She made herself very undesirable, but she was a very, very powerful healer.
Damn.
So a lot of my shop, I wanted it to be very much based off of powerful women, because powerful women have such had an impact on my life. So I wanted to do my grandmother, who was named Rosa, and then Saint Rosa of Lima. So yeah. But it's all based on like Mexican culture. All the products kind of have a Mexican twist to them. Like I have a attraction spray that's also a toner called La Sucia, which stands for like the nasty girl, you know, because like she was like the girl that would take home the guys at the party. So yeah, it's going good. It's not launched yet. It's coming soon.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm expecting when I hear the words Botanica. But that's not always what I get. Back when we had our shop in Santa Cruz, the rival shop, they decided to be a rival. They called themselves Botanica. And I was like, nothing Botanica about it.
Right. You should feel like you're walking into... I was always told, whenever I go into a Botanica too, I always feel like I'm walking into someone's like garage that they turned into a shop. I should feel like I can go into the back and get like a nice cooked meal. Like, and that's kind of the vibe that I want my shop to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Orange is the New Black?
I watched up to like... I think the last season I saw was when the fence came down and they were like running. That was like the last season I watched.
I remember that one. Yeah, we watched it. Well, they had a woman in there that ran a Botanica.
Mm-hmm.
And I always remember that story because it's a good like teaching moment kind of story.
She was on like pretty much the entire time.
Yeah, she was on through the whole series, and but she ran a Botanica. And this dude turned her in for some sort of, I think she was like cashing out food stamps or something like that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
The older Mexican lady with short brown hair.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so he turned her in, and the reason why he turned her in, hey, Mojo, knock it off. The reason why he turned her in is because he was butthurt that his spell didn't work. He walks into the shop and he goes, that job candle that you made me, it did not work. And she goes, well, okay, what do you mean it didn't work? Tell me what you did. And he says, well, like you told me, I filled out the application. I folded it towards me. I put it under the candle. I light the candle. I have no job. And she said, did you remember to turn in a separate application to the job you were applying for? And he goes, you didn't tell me that. Yeah.
But you know, I'm glad that you said that though, because that's actually a true representation of how I feel a lot of these kids try to do their prosperity spells.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, there's like, there's just some common sense stuff that, people shouldn't have to tell you.
Right.
You have to apply for the fucking job. Well,
I saw your video that you did the other day where it was like you stitched another video and then you said, everything in magic pulls from mundane. So like a $20 bill isn't just going to appear under your bed, like something like that. Like someone could drop it. Like it's all cause and effect.
Yeah. I mean, I've spent my entire witch life fascinated on those mechanisms. Like after something happens, I'm always like going through the gears to see which gears turn, make that thing happen after the fact. I'm not thinking about that, before, but once it manifests, I'm just like fascinated, who created the gears and how well they fucking work.
Yes. Huh. Yes, and how easily they can be turned too if you know how to turn them.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna take us a quick break. So smoking if you got them. Tio Brujo from the Brujos of TikTok. We'll be right back.
Boom.
Didn't know what time it was, the lights were low. Oh, oh. I leaned back on my radio. Oh, oh. Some cat was laying down some rock and roll, not a soul he said. Then the loud sound, it seemed to fade. Came back like a slow voice on a wave of fate. That weren't no DJ, that was hazy cosmic jive. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He's told us not to blow it, 'cause he knows it's all worthwhile. He told me, let the children lose it, let the children use it, let all the children boogie. Switch on the TV, we may pick him up on channel 2. Look out your window, I can see his light. If we can sparkle, he may land tonight. Don't tell your papa, or he'll get us locked up in fights. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He's told us not to blow it, 'cause he knows it's all worthwhile. He told me, let the children lose it, let the children use it, let all the children boogie. Starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He's told us not to blow it, 'cause he knows it's all worthwhile. He told me, let the children lose it, let the children use it, let all the children boogie.
All right, David Bowie on Wittershin. Talking to Tio Brujo from TikTok, doing the Brujos of TikTok. And I got to tell you guys, and I'm sure you're going to want to know too, Tio, May 27th is our dear friend Huru Semois's birthday, who recently passed. Mm-hmm. And we have had Huru Semois on at least 3 times. And we're going to go through our archives and download those. And on May 27th, it's going to be a Friday. Should we do 5? Or I haven't even thought of the time yet. We'll figure out the time. But sometime on May 27th, we're going to rebroadcast all of those broadcasts. The first first time we had him on was to talk about gay poleros, which is kind of this taboo that nobody will speak on, and he was the only one, the only gay polero with the guts to come on the air. And that's kind of how we met him. We didn't even know him by the time we came to New Orleans to do Hex Fest. He was our best friend already.
The first time?
Yeah.
Yeah, we met him at HexFest 2019.
Yep. So
Oh,
we have
cool.
at least two 2-hour broadcasts with him.
Yeah.
Oh, we have him and Christian Day at the house.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
And then we have the last time that we had him on, and I kept bringing him bourbon, and he kept talking, and he was telling us stuff about voodoo that we're probably not supposed to know, and so I just kept bringing him bourbon, and we rolled for 3 hours. We can when shit like that happens, it's typically we do 2 hours, but we were able to just roll it for 3 hours and just let him speak, and God, I'm glad we did that.
Yeah.
So 27th, tune in. We'll figure out what time we're going to start that thing because it's going to take hours and hours and hours to do it.
It'll be nice to hear his voice again.
Yes. Well, Marta's been, Marta's had his book for a while, and she's been reading more of it, and she just says she can hear him speak when she reads the book. His voice is in there. Working Conjure, y'all. Working Conjure by Hoodoo Simois. Best
available everywhere.
Yeah. Anybody asks me about the best book on hoodoo, that's what I'm going to tell them.
Yep. Yeah. Which I think is funny when people start throwing around the whole hoodoo and clothes, XYZ and all that, because most of them own that book.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I remember the person that was first that I knew about that was giving you shit about your name specifically, posted a picture of Moise in his rant, just days after he passed. It's oh, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
And I started shit with him, and then he blocked me, which is probably a good idea.
Yeah. No, I couldn't believe that. And I'm even because the fact that I told him this, I obviously someone who passed, he didn't care. And then I'm just dude, regardless of whatever is what, you need to have respect for the dead.
Yeah. What form of hoodoo do you not have respect for the dead?
Exactly.
What was he saying?
He was talking shit about Moise days after he passed because he's a white guy practicing hoodoo and has hoodoo as his name.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Not without the knowledge that the guy's a fucking initiated Haitian voodoo priest and goes there several times a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. There was a lot of nasty shit that went on after that.
No, nobody has ever brought that up. Nobody cares. It's just some nobody who's just decided to make a big deal out of something that nobody else cares about.
Yeah, we're not talking about Orion Foxwood. Shit. Yeah. Oh, is that out loud? Sorry.
Yes, that was your out loud.
Sorry. No.
What do you mean?
Oh, dear. All right, so your shop's coming up. I know you've been working on products. He's a perfectionist. So
yes,
shop will be great when it comes out.
I wanted to open up my shop for a while, but I have to I have to set the building blocks. I had to think of marketing, and I had to think of my logo and branding and how what I wanted my products to be.
Are you a Virgo?
No, I'm an Aries. I'm an Aries, Pisces, Capricorn.
Okay, I like the Aries part.
Yeah. So it sucks because I see shops opening up along all the time now, and then I think of how just saturated that market is, and so then I think about how I can be different, and I don't understand how people can just open up an Etsy and just throw products on there and not think about this before. It blows my mind.
Yeah. Well, I'm the opposite. Give you a magic marker and a Ziploc bag, and your product's on the way. And somehow that level of everybody, I know every marketing person's going to get on my ass about fucking packaging, God. But somehow that has authenticated myself to my customers. The fact
but then at the same time though, that's your brand.
Yeah.
So as much as you try to fight against it, you're still in the fucking machine.
Well, that's why I don't run my shop anymore. I have other people do that. Yes, they'll do that thing for me.
Fancy.
Well, it is. It should be the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
My friends. Hey, Mojo, can you knock it off for a minute? My friends that own shops in the French Quarter don't spend much time in their shops. Even I remember
Yeah.
we came here when we first came here. They took us on a tour, and for all the things they say about Christian Day, he supports all these different local occult businesses, and he took us into Voodoo Authentica, and I'd known that woman since 13 Real Magic, since I was a
she made
worker
those candles,
at a
right?
witch store before I even opened my own. Yeah,
candles.
and I used
Wow.
to talk to that lady on the phone, and we'd give her an idea for a
Oh, you were
candle.
telling me about Katrina. She was like trapped
Yeah,
on
she
a
was
roof
trapped on
or
a roof
something.
during Katrina.
I remember that.
And
Wow.
Jesus.
but then, you know, I asked, you know, hey, is she around? She said, oh yeah, she didn't come in very often. She comes in like twice a week. I said, all right, she's doing all right. She didn't. That was the thing for me. It's like I became the face of my shop. People would come on vacation. And, let's go see Uncle Birch. And if I wasn't there, they'd be all bummed out.
They were so excited when I was there.
Yeah, they were really excited. You're his wife,
That's cool.
Yeah.
you know. But that's just I don't want to be at a witch store all fucking day. Some people
No.
do, you know. I'm sure a lot of people want to do that, but once you've done that for a decade or so, you're probably not going to want to do that.
Right.
Once the novelty
yeah.
wears off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's why, like, I don't know if I could ever do a storefront. Like, I give big credit to people who do storefronts, and especially do storefronts in this day and age.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could ever do a storefront. Like, that requires so much additional energy. And then, like you said, you're there all the time, which is fine. You know, you're serving your community, but at the same time, you're just making yourself available so much of the time. You know, and that's so energy draining.
Well, and then if you live in a red state, you know,
Yeah.
vandalism and death threats and shit like that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we even had
See-
some of that in California, but, you know.
No. Yeah. No.
No.
In Michigan, though, I wouldn't say it's. I don't know if we swing either way. We go where the wind blows out. It feels like in Michigan, but
I don't know,
there's
man. You
not
strike me
a
as totally
spiritual-
gay.
I don't know if I would call it a witch shop. It's a spiritual apothecary in town, and they sell like crystals and Reiki, and you could tell like they want to be spiritual, but they're not ready to take that jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, it is where the money's at. You know, that's why
Yeah.
they do it. You know, I remember crystal price was skyrocketing once the New Age started. Nobody wanted them before that, except witches and
No.
watchmakers, and radio manufacturers.
The cardinal.
Well, now the stay-at-home housewife wants her crystals and her oils to, you know, feel
So
calm.
there's some yoga mats in the back.
Right.
Yeah, over on Witch Talk, you know, we've got this Christian. I'm sure you probably saw it, but the Christian accusing us all of astral projecting, and he's going to go cut our silver cords. And which is like if you're and it's if you're ever depressed, witch did it. You know, witch did it's like fucking.
Okay,
everyone's on antidepressants, but the witch is just hexing all kinds of motherfuckers.
That's like that one crackhead that was living in the forest. Remember, and she was telling people, "Don't take your medication because you're gonna be not in 5D." And I'm like, "You need to be removed."
Oh, is
from
that the
this
one that wanted you
area."
to like rinse, swish your urine in your
Yes,
mouth to
yes.
present abscessed teeth?
Yes.
And then she was the one that said that the moon was fake.
Yes, but then had her name named B.E. Shell, which is the Aztec moon goddess.
That's funny. I didn't even think of that at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're not on TikTok, this is the kind of stuff you're missing.
Yeah,
Endless
it's great.
entertainment,
It's
man.
just a big old shit show.
Big old shit show. But you know, there's diamonds in the rough. Got
Yeah.
T.O. Brujo, your mean gay best friend.
Yeah.
And the people that we've had on the show, of course. That witchy dude, I'm still meaning to get him on the show. He seems old school. He was apparently involved in the creation of the TikTok or the Witch Talk hashtag, according to another old time creator that did the. He did the history of Witch Talk.
Is his name the Witchy Dude?
Yeah, that
Oh.
witchy dude. That witchy dude. He tends to stay out of all this bullshit. You know, there was a time, you know, he got involved in the bullshit, but he's beyond it. He's over there like doing guitar solos and shit.
Okay.
He's got a shop. He's making stuff. I think he's a farmer too.
Oh, nice. Hey, we love that.
Yeah.
I would even recommend for myself, if someone was looking to check out like information on like Brujeria or just Santa Muerte in general, my bestie and elder, Bruja B. And she also has a shop, too. And she's very slick at the tongue, which, you know, I think I get a lot of my sass from.
Well, you know, right away I know the name, and I know the name because I watched the Leave Me the Fuck Alone series.
Yes.
Where right before we started, I think you heard Voodoo Brujo in the background. That certain creator that spends all their time attacking people and stuff that can't keep your name out of her mouth.
The one I know?
Yeah, the one you know.
The one who
also
gets no
mentioned
sleep.
her, B.
Who are these?
So is the hashtag Brujeria?
Yeah, it's Bruja Talk.
Bruja Talk. Okay, I've seen that one.
Yeah.
I think you have
Yeah,
that on yours.
yeah.
Bruja Talk.
So, but no, so if people are looking for, like, information, though, like, B is actually, like, a legitimate good source. What I will say, and I'm trying to think how to approach this. If you are someone who's a Santa Muerte devotee or looking to become a Santa Muerte devotee, and you have religious trauma, you know, you may have not dealt with certain things yet, I would say you maybe, like, look at something a little bit more non-traditional, because me and, like, Bruja B, we're very traditional Santa Muerte devotees, which that's not everyone's cup of tea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm a self-starter.
Yeah. Hey, you know, and listen, and people get so not upset, but I think a lot of times people don't listen. They just want to hear to just, like, converse, but they're not listening.
Yeah.
So when I say, you know, I'm a traditional Santa Muerte devotee and Bruja B is a traditional Santa Muerte devotee, we're not saying that you have to be that. You know, your path is your path. It's just people get so caught up in, well, why can't I? It's like, they're not listening. You know what I mean?
About as
They just want to
traditional.
react.
About as traditional as I get is I've got her prayer cards, and I read off of those sometimes.
Hey, and that's a very traditional thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know,
But, like, people want to mix her with, like, infernals and say that she's, like, a demon. Like, no, that's not true.
yeah. Well, I had, it was way before I ever saw it on Breaking Bad. You know, you probably saw the video that I made about when she burst her way into my fucking life and took up half of my store.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous.
Immediately, like, people knew. And I literally had this dude fucking... I mean, I'm in a witch store. I see weird shit all the time. There's a guy that comes in with a cross made of PVC pipes that holds it out
I wish
in
I'd
front of
seen
his
that
body
dude.
while just shopping and purchasing things. He'll come up holding this cross
he's
at me.
totally normal, other than that one thing.
Yeah, it's just, he's standing there holding this cross at me while buying shit
he's not
from
like
the witch
yelling
store.
or
And,
you know, saying you're gonna burn or whatever.
So I've seen
Just
some.
holding it in front of him.
We've seen some shit, and but like I think the next day this dude is crawling across my floor on his fucking elbows.
Yeah.
Up to the little makeshift shrine I fucking learned overnight what to put on there. They just started coming.
No,
Just started coming.
That's a very traditional thing that I don't see it a lot here in America, to be honest. Like, I would say in heavily populated Latin communities or people that, like, magical communities, you see it a lot.
Yeah.
But in Mexico, that's a very traditional way of, like, calling, like, you know, because we are bowing down to her. You know what I mean? Like, we don't put anyone above her. And I think that's why, for me, I only solely devote her. Like, she's the only person that I work under. And I always feel like people, if you do this, but if whoever does this, I'm not hitting on that, but I feel like if people want to work with so many different deities and incorporate her with so many different deities, I feel like in a way that's doubting her. So I only, like, just venerate to her. Like, she's my everything. You know what I mean?
Okay, so to you, like, you know, some people she's a folk saint. Some people she's an Aztec goddess adopted as a folk saint.
Yeah.
What would you say? How do you view her?
So she is a Mexican Catholic folk saint. She comes to us post-colonization. Now, how we got her, though, the story is that a young man saw her she appeared to him on his ceiling. He went to the Catholic church, or the priest in his town in Mexico, and the priest was like, "Oh, that's not of God, that's of the devil." So she said, "Dismiss it." So then he went back again. He went to bed and he woke up and saw the same thing. And he started praying to her like a folk saint, a Catholic saint. And, she ended up healing him. But that's how she came to us. Now, also, in the same aspect, the people who were colonized, the indigenous Mexica and the Nahuatl people, they would mask, or they would put Mitlantecutli and Mitekasiwa, who are the goddess and goddess of death, or the what's the word? Because I don't want to, because people eat you up over your words. I think it's I know I'm gonna fuck it up. It's Twaddle, or it's Toatl, and I can't. So I yeah.
Twaddle. Yeah, I was close, but I don't think I did it right.
The word.
Yeah.
But so they would keep her. They would put those two beings in statues. Now the issue is, so that's how I see her. I see her as an encompassing force of all of that. Now, mundane wise and like historically, there is no hard evidence saying that she is Mitekasiwa or Mitlantecutli. She is always tied back to them, but there is no hard, this is her 100%, this is who she is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, to me, at the end of the day, she is a Mexican folk Catholic saint, but she encompasses all aspects of death within our people's history, is what I'll say.
Beautifully said. I
didn't mean to run on.
Sometimes I'll go and I'll put a piece of this show on TikTok. I'll have to find this portion of the show when you said that. But now I can do. Yeah. Last time I was able to put 10 minutes out there. Some people aren't using that 10-minute option enough yet. And I'm not sure if
I have that option, but I don't know how to access it.
Well, it's not. They don't have a button for it yet. You just got to record 10 minutes offline and then upload it.
Oh.
Remember when they first did 3 minutes? We didn't actually have the 3-minute button. But yeah, y'all. TikTok, we've gotten up to where we can have 10 whole minutes. I remember when I on YouTube, way back when I was able to make more than 15 minutes. And then I just lost track. I don't even get their emails anymore. But I go on for fucking hours on YouTube. It's
that's when YouTube was the ocean. It was like the open fucking ocean.
Yeah.
People forget the shit that used to be on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of the thing. It's like, I tolerate what I tolerate on TikTok because I'm hoping to have a positive impact, and we'll continue to do that as long as it's sanely possible. But it ain't the only fucking pond. None of this shit happens in the other fucking ponds. Only time we've ever had a video pulled down, like Wittershins will rebroadcast on YouTube. And the majority of the music that we play are copyright infringements, and they'll notify us of that. And you can actually get a song list a lot of times if you go to the program, because you just look at the copyright infringement list, and it's everything we fucking played. But one time they took a show down because we played a Prince song, "Controversy" by Prince. And so his copyright is a little more hardcore than others.
Yeah,
apparently.
It's a little like vice grippy.
Yeah. But that was legit. That did happen. We did violate a community standard. I'll take that. When I go to Facebook jail, and it's pretty fucking often, I am kind of bullying. I mean, I'm usually bullying back, but taken out of context, I can see that. My current TikTok jail is because some dude had a video where some guy said, "When I win my $70,000, I'm taking everyone to Sizzler," and I just replied, "Ew."
Yeah.
Sizzler? That's all I did.
Sizzler?
That ew was bullying and harassment. So I'm in TikTok jail till like fucking Friday right now.
Are you ever not in TikTok jail?
I'm usually not. It's if you see me on Witch School or Uncle Birch 4, that's probably because I'm in TikTok jail. But my next account is going to be Brooks was here.
Okay.
Do you get it?
I don't think it is.
Yes.
I don't know if you got it. Maybe you got it. Yeah. I'm institutionalized at this point. I've been out of Facebook jail for a good, few weeks, but we'll see. I just try not to be on Facebook much. Somebody's going to piss me off, I'm going to respond. Marta is really good at that. She's on fucking Trump pages and shit and reads me all this horrific shit and just doesn't respond. Like, maybe she'll do like a laugh.
Well, they'll block me if I respond.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Then they'll ban me, and then I won't be able to troll anymore.
Yeah. No, I've been doing that a lot. I actually had to get off on Facebook because I got into it with a family member over the road versus rape thing, and I'm just like, you know what? I think it's time for me to get on Facebook
My
for a
family,
little bit.
either they blocked me
Oh,
or
so
I
you were
blocked them.
so you were on Facebook until recently. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I kind of come and go because, like, my privacy is very, like, important to me, and I have given, like, my name and address out to people who want to send me stuff, and this was when I first started, so I didn't know that you could, like, set up Amazon wish lists. Like, I was very stupid and naive when I first started doing TikTok, and so I just don't trust a lot of people, so I don't want, like, people to, like, go on my Facebook and try to, like, message my friends or my family. You know what I mean? It's just, my privacy is very important to me.
Yep. Well,
Unlike you, Mr. Celebrity on TV and shit.
We were on Facebook. We during the pandemic, we did a thing called the Stay the Fucking Home Show, and I think like 6 days a week at one point. We'd be here every day at noon, just like hang out with all these people. And I was recently looking at it, and I thought it was interesting that the friends of mine that are mutual friends that have no reason to be mutual friends, except they must have met each other on the Stay the Fucking Home Show.
That's always cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like to tell you, me and Spirit Witch, I reached out and we're actually, like, really cool. So I appreciate you, like, hosting that live.
Wait a minute. Spirit? I don't even remember the one with Spirit Witch. I remember you having a problem with Silver River or something.
Yeah, no, so
okay,
it was,
cool. Well, yeah.
Because she was like, well, this person has me blocked, and I'm like,
oh, that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. Okay, yeah,
so
Spirit
we're
Witch
all
is cool.
good now.
Good. See, there I am,
She's
making peace.
cool people. She's very nice.
See, it's right there. I can think of 2 times that I helped make peace between Tio Brujo and somebody. So
what are you saying? That I'm always involved in stuff.
Well, no. I'm thinking about you because you're the guest, right? I mean, and then now I'm looking in my head. Is there other times that happened? There was somebody else that I got to like lay down their arms at one point. All right, so if that's 2 for 2,000. All right, I'm doing all right.
I think what it comes down to is I think people are just forgetting to talk to each other. People are so quick to like make a public spectacle that no one is really talking to each other. You know what I mean?
Well, and people jump down each other's throats because they didn't make their point perfectly in 60 fucking seconds.
Right. Exactly.
Our technology is kind of limited. It's like, so when I really have a point to make, I at least go 3 minutes.
Yes.
But then fewer people watch the 3-minute video because nobody's got an attention span.
Yes. Yeah, I've realized that since being on TikTok that my attention span has like gone down, and like I talk a lot faster, and like I'll shoot out points more quicker, and I'm like, oh, this is because I'm so used to scrolling past 60-second videos.
Yeah, we've been conditioned.
Yeah.
But
fucking turning into robots.
Yeah. But we got entire generations out there that just don't read books, so
That's what blows my mind is that like these people are getting information from just random people they see without any research, looking into it any further.
Yeah. At least we have some people out there that are reputable sources, and that's why we started the Witches of TikTok, and then we're going to do the Root Workers of TikTok. Then we didn't get that person on. We have somebody else to get on for that. And now the Brujos of TikTok. Diamonds in the rough. There are good sources out there. Just like, follow the people you're going to follow. And instead of your For You page, stick on your following page.
Yes.
Just scroll on that fucker, man. You don't necessarily want to wade out into the waters of the For You page. What TikTok thinks is For You. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on, Mojo.
Yeah, no, I barely stay on my following page. I mostly stay on my For You. I mean, switch that. I barely stay on my For You page. I mostly am on my following page.
Following page. See,
What?
I asked Marta to keep talking for a minute, but Marta doesn't even know what the following page is.
Yeah, I don't even know what you guys are
Technically has
talking
a
about.
TikTok account.
Yeah, but I started an account just so I could watch videos. You know, I don't necessarily want to make any videos. I mean, I probably will at some point. But I mean, not about the same stuff that Uncle Birch here does. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do, but not what she. It's like, you know, I like the people I like, but in general, I try to not be involved in that particular community because I've just had so many issues with people and drama and stuff. I just, you know, it's like I'm a lot happier not being a part of it. You know,
I'm sure.
I mean, I hear plenty from him, and that's enough.
Well, and a lot of people like to act like that, like witch talk's the problem. It isn't the problem. You called it a community. Other people have called these different hashtags a community. It's like, that's the problem. Anytime I've seen somebody try and have community, this is the kind of shit that happens in their community. People need to learn to be better people before we try and like become communities and shit. Because this stuff happened in person. It's like, and I've often said, you know, well, first of all, I grew up through like junior high and high school. All of my friends were girls, and all their boyfriends wanted to kick my ass until somebody said I was gay, and then they didn't want to kick my ass. but then watching like Marta in the pagan community, well, Marta's hot, and that brings out the worst in other females.
I've never had any problems with any of the men.
Yeah,
ever.
And
But the
being
women,
and especially if you're like a heterosexual male witch, that's a rare commodity.
Especially in this community.
And so, you know, in witchcraft and, you know, around Wicca, we got the whole goddess spirituality movement, and they're always talking about, you know, having this safe space, this woman's only safe space. And I always reply every time anybody says that. It's like, anybody that thinks that a woman's only space is a safe space doesn't know any fucking women. Like, meow, motherfucker. It's a real fucking thing. And I don't believe in absolutes, but one thing that I heard is almost absolutely true by my experimentation. There is one thing that every woman wants. The answer is what another woman has.
Yeah. I unfortunately don't have that much experience.
Exactly. Well, you guys can be pretty
though,
fucking
like,
catty
in
too.
The gay community, like a lot of like the gay community, it would blow my mind. When I was younger, I was more involved in my local gay community, but it was always that same group of people would be the same group that would tear down other gay people. You know what I mean? Like you'd always have like these beautiful, thin, muscular guys tear down fat or thicker gay guys, and I'm like, that never makes sense to me. Like, we have these communities, but is it really a community, or are we all just grouped together because of one thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, well, you know, being a heterosexual male witch, most of the guys that I know are gay, and Marta's a fruit fly from way back, so all everybody she knows is gay, and I see that, like, you know, as one of our best friends, like, he's older, and so he has a really hard time getting any partners, but then he only likes, you know, really young guys.
Right.
And it's like, the problem is maybe that y'all are men. That's the same thing they have with heterosexual guys and with the young chicks and shit. And it's the same thing. Oh, and you don't want the fat ones. And I've definitely seen that.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I mean, and I thought about that too. I'm like, is it because we're guys and so like we're already most of us are already very vain and like very, you know what we like, and we're very hard-headed. So I think it all plays a part, but I think it's just, I think people, like I said, I think people want to create these sense of communities thinking that, oh, we all have the same likes and interests. No, you don't. Most of the time, you guys have one or two things in common, and then everyone else is their own different person. And people think that, oh, well, if you don't match me, that I can't, well, you know, you're not worthy or you're less than. And that's what always gets on my nerves in these communities.
Well, the thing that's always baffled me is I understand why that exists in heterosexual men. It's part of the heterosexual male mysteries. They're attracted to younger women because they're gonna have babies. And subconsciously, even though you don't want to have babies, it's somehow programmed into your fucking DNA. It's a survival for the species mechanism. And, you know, not only do you just want the young women, well, you want to go from flower to flower and spread your seed all over the fucking place for hope of having more children out there in the world, because it's wired into us. But then I see it's like, well, okay, you know, it really seems like that makes sense what I just came up with, but what are the gay guys doing it for then?
I don't know.
You're not trying to spread your seed to more flowers.
Because, like, see, my thing, I think it also breaks down to, like, you know, are you doing it for, like, lust and that carnal feeling, or are you doing it for, like, love and, like, the emotional aspect of it, you know? Because I do feel, and I feel like in recent years, a lot of the times people, you know, you can, like, with gay guys, I think that's why, just from what I observe, because I don't want to speak for everybody, but from what I observe, I think that's why monogamy is such a hard thing in our community, because we're men, and men, you know, we see something nice, we like it, we go after it, you know what I mean? And I think that's why, at least, monogamy is hard in our community. But I don't know why we do the things we do. We're so different.
Yeah. I mean, I understand lust and stuff, but like for like, it's wired into heterosexual men and it's like we have a lot of animal instincts that some of them are good, some are bad. A lot of them we just don't need anymore.
Yeah.
You know, Elon Musk was just saying, "Oh, we need more fucking children, or the human race is going to go extinct." It's like, no, it fucking isn't.
No,
and we don't need more fucking children. We can't handle what we fucking have. Are you crazy? My God.
Yeah. I was watching a documentary the other day about, like, it was by David Attenborough, and it was him talking about, like, you know, how we have to start making some changes, or, like, you know, we're going to get to a point where we're not going to be able to turn around, like, with our climate and our planet. And I think people are so fixated on, like, you know, well, I need to make this accessible for me while I'm here now. Like, that's awesome, but, like, what are you leaving behind? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I tend to think about that, because I'm a big believer in, like, reincarnation and XYZ, and I don't want to come back and only live for, like, 5 years.
Yeah, there's that. Well, yeah, they tend to think, it's like, well, I'm not going to fucking be here, so who fucking gives a shit? Well, it's like, I got kids. I got to think of that, you know?
Yeah. Goodness.
Anyway. Well, let me tell you people about Hex Fest. Got to pay some bills here, y'all. All right.
Plug.
It's coming up, y'all, and I think everybody in the chat room is going to Hex Fest. And they're all fucking TikTok people. August 12th to the 14th, 2022. God, I'm not used to reading off a computer screen. It's so large. Join in the magic. Tales of the magic of the Crescent City of New Orleans stretch back over the centuries. It's an enigmatic place where voodoo, hoodoo, witchcraft, and even Christianity blend at the crossroads of spiritual power. On August 12th to the 14th, 2022, Brian Kane, Christian Day, and the Witches of New Orleans. Hey, that's us, hon. Yep. Present Hex Fest.
Well, actually, I think
that was beautiful.
Witches of New Orleans.
Well, they're covered I don't think that's their name.
It is.
That's their Facebook page.
It's
well, we are the Witches
The
of
name
New
of
Orleans.
the coven is Witches
Wow.
of New Orleans and the
Okay.
Alexandria.
We may not be in their coven, but we are the Witches of New Orleans, damn it. Present Hexfest, a weekend of witchery held in the heart of the historic French Quarter. The conference opens with a riverboat ritual and dinner held on an authentic steamboat on the Mississippi River, followed by 2 full days of workshops, drumming, and ritual at the Bourbon Orleans Hotel, a venue riddled with a history of hauntings. Hexfest has gathered witches, root workers, voodoo priests, and other magical teachers from within New Orleans and around the world to offer their time-honored wisdom. Between workshops, attendees will love our magical shopping and our on-site vending hall, where you can purchase powerful ritual tools, signed books, exquisite jewelry, and spellcrafts handmade by true practitioners. Presenters.
Wow.
For the 2022 Hexfest, hail from across the spectrum of witchcraft and magic and include Brian Kane, Christian Day, Angel Griffith, Carrie Ewers, Christine Stevens, Deborah Laurie, Drago Vincenzo, The Dragon Ritual Drummers, Ellie Barnes, Fatima Mboj. Did I do it?
Mboj.
Mboj. Yeah, it wasn't that bad that time.
Yeah, you
All right.
said Mboj. It's not.
Oh,
It's
Mboj.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting better. Geraldine Baskin, Hala Ali, Harriet Barnes Duke, Jennifer Medway, John Corvus, Crystal Madison, Levi Rowland, Lilith Dorsey, Martha Moran Gonzalez, Mato Watakapi, Michael Carell, Priestess, that's me, Priestess Miriam, Rebecca Spirit, Sean Wild, Silver Ravenwolf. I can't believe I'm on the same bill with Silver Ravenwolf. Oh my God, what are we going to talk about? All right, I'm going to have, if she comes to the presenters' dinner, I'll make sure I have a few drinks before I say anything. Sarita Deste,
Doesn't have to talk to you.
Star Ravenhawk, Tess Whithurst, Thomas Prower, Witch Doctor Utu, and Yeshe Matthews. Whether you're a beginner or advanced practitioner, Hexfest will help you to discover the secrets of witchcraft and expand your mastery of the magical arts. Get your ass to hexfest.com. This shit's been known to sell out in advance. It's May now, and August is right around the goddamn quarter.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you're coming in August, umbrella. I recommend umbrella.
Like a parasol.
Like a parasol. But one that stops rain, too, because rain can happen, too. But
yeah, but the rain is kind of welcome.
Yeah, keep the sun off you. Might be a good idea around August. Especially if you're wearing black and shit. Which tends to happen around here.
Are.
Yeah. All right, let's take us a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
His eyes, they closed, and his last breath spoke. He had seen all to be seen. A life once full, now an empty vase, wilt the blossoms on his early grave. Walk away, me boy, walk away, me boy, and by morning we'll be free. Wipe that golden tear from your mother dear, and raise what's left of the flag for me. Then the rosary beads, counting 1, 2, 3, fell apart as they hit the floor. In our garb of black, we must pay respect to the colour we're born to mourn. Walk away, me boys, walk away, me boys, by morning we'll be free. Wipe the golden tear from your mother dear, raise what's left of the flag for me. Staggeroo, an angry fist start a wound filled with hatred and remorse. Wearing pickings
golden tear from your mother, dear, and raise what's left of the flag for me.
Father, can you hear me? How have I let you down? I curse the day that I was born, and all the sorrow in this world. Let me take you to the hurting ground, where all good men are trampled down, just to settle a bet that could not be won, between a prideful father and his son. Will you guide me now, for I can see a reason for the suffering and this long misery. What if every living soul could be upright and strong? Well, then I do imagine there will be sorrow. Yeah, there will be sorrow. And there will be sorrow no more. When all soldiers lay their weapons down, or when all kings and all queens relinquish their crowns, or when the only true Messiah rescues us from ourselves, it's easy to imagine there will be sorrow. Yeah, there will be sorrow. And there will be sorrow no more. There will be sorrow. Yeah, there will be sorrow. And there will be sorrow no more. Yeah, there will be sorrow. Yeah, there will be sorrow. And there will be sorrow no more.
Bad Religion on Witterson's Radio with our guest, Tio Brujo. And in the chat room, they're asking, Tio Brujo, are you going?
I'm thinking about it.
That would be awesome.
He was definitely on the hook when,
We'll show you where Moise's store used to be.
this Hex Fest was going to be Hudos and Moise's triumphant return to Hex Fest
Re-debut.
after a couple years, and so I was badgering Tio Brujo into going because of that, and he was on the hook. But then
Yeah.
the world changed.
I mean, you
Yes,
were
it
back
did.
to Moise about going to that.
No, I was badgering Brujo to go to that.
Oh, and who was on?
Yeah.
He was going to go. He was trying to figure it
Yeah.
out, and
Well, he
Yeah.
just said
Yeah.
he might go.
yeah, he still might go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, so we're on the
So
same
So we're on the
page.
same page.
Okay.
Sounds like we're arguing, but
You're just being combative now.
I am.
You know what, sir? You're very aggressive.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
I feel violated.
I have a new term that Marta gave me because I hate people that use buzzwords to
Colonizer?
no, not well, colonizer buzzword, but there's so many of them out there that people just use to get people's dander up, even though they don't have a case. And
Yes.
the word microaggression Next time somebody accuses me of microaggression, I'm going to go, hey, bitch, here's a macroaggression. Marta gave me that term. I don't know why I didn't just come up with that. I'll give you a macroaggression.
Well, you need
I don't.
me to come up
I don't
with
do
the smart things for
microaggressive,
you.
man, but I'll do macroaggressive. Sure.
I think of this phrase, and someone was like, you need to stop being passive aggressive. I'm like, I'm not passive aggressive. I'm aggressive aggressive.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
choose to be fucking friendly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and gaslight. People use that for all kind of shit that doesn't mean fucking gaslighting anymore.
I think people don't look up the meanings of these
I
words.
know.
They just
Well,
hear
the
the
same
words
with
that
the
they hear on
word
TikTok.
narcissism. Like some people
Yeah.
are actually clinical narcissists. They have NPD, narcissistic
Yeah.
personality disorder, and some people just use that word like so loosely to anybody they don't like is a narcissist.
Like we used it on
Yeah.
Trump, and that was valid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, some people are.
absolutely.
And
He is
so
a
is
fucking
Putin.
narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think people get like narcissist and narcissistic behavior mixed up. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I made a video the other day speaking about, because one of the biggest issues I run into is that I'll make a video and people need to understand that on my page, I'm literally just venting. I'm not like, it's me just venting most of the time or telling people about things. And I'll like speak on stuff that may not even relate to anybody, but it's just how I'm feeling. And people will be like, are you talking about me? Like, no. But why are you having narcissistic behavior right now? Like,
Yeah.
Well, for the longest time, gay people have been, fighting for equal rights.
yes.
In my world, they get special rights. It's like
Yeah.
most of the gay guys I know will be a total cunt from time to time, and
Yeah.
anybody else you would totally call them on that. Like
Yeah.
I remember Marta one time had a foot injury and
I
was
just
on
talked
crutches.
to him about that last night.
Talk to
yesterday.
who? Oh,
Raven. Yeah.
And her mean gay best friend
Yep.
on a busy street corner pantsed her
When I was on crutches.
when she was on crutches. Now, a heterosexual guy would have had to get up in his face
I
about
would have
that.
put that crutch where the sun don't shine.
I mean, that particular individual, every time we would ever go out, he'd be sexually assaulting me under the table, and I'd be stabbing him with a fork. But if anybody else sexually assaulted me under the table, well, that'd be an ender.
Yep.
He got away with it.
I feel like, I think sometimes as gay men, and I've had to check this about myself, like I think that sometimes we think that because we kind of encompass both the male and female, like we're so in tune with both of our energies that we like to ride in between those lines. So like I've definitely with my straight friends have been how they like will, be like, say, oh man, that's so gay. Like, how they'll be like guys with each other. I've been guys, like I've been that same kind of energy with them. Well, females, like when I was younger in my 20s and I was going to the clubs, I would like, oh my God, your tits are beautiful. But then I had to like check myself and be like, wait a minute, girl. That kind of that's almost kind of sexual harassment. And you probably shouldn't do that anymore. But, I think people forget to check their behaviors because they think, oh, well, I'm not attracted to girls. Like, it's nothing. But, like, no, it may not always be nothing to the other person.
Well, as a woman, though, I'll tell you, if a gay guy says it, it's just different. Like, if a heterosexual stranger comes up to me and goes, oh, my God, I love your eyes. You're so beautiful. I'm going to be creeped out. But if a gay guy says it to me, I'm going to be flattered.
Yeah.
It's different. Call me biased, whatever. It's just different.
No, I agree. And I think it's just like, I think just now in the day and age, I'm just trying to be more conscious because, anything can be mistaken. And then all of a sudden, your whole world is crashing down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Ask Johnny about that.
Johnny.
I'm not okay with cancel. I'm not okay with cancel culture. I know some people are like, oh, you need to cancel. And like, I think people are forgetting that like the mental effects it can take on people. And I would never, even like my worst enemy, I would never want them to feel a certain way to where they weren't mentally okay. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of a nice person.
Yeah. Well, then have okay, so back to TikTok. We had the whole modern warrior drama.
Oh God.
And then it turned out that the woman accusing him was lying.
Yeah.
And admitted it. And it's like everybody was he fucking deleted his account. All the what do you call it? The accountability TikTok people, they all turned on him. Like immediately. It's like I got one friend out there from the Palo community that everybody turned on because of accusations like that, and I'm one of the only people I know that hasn't. And it's like, well, because what those people said made no sense.
Yeah.
And nobody like looks for sense anymore. It's like, and I think I said it on TikTok. I've said it everywhere, and I'll fucking say it again. It's like, I watch too much fucking Maury, Steve Wilkos, and Jerry Springer to believe every motherfucker that's going to come down the pike and say they've been sexually assaulted. People do that as a weapon in this day and age,
and it's
it
really
fucking
unfortunate
happens.
that you have to be that way.
Well, I was telling Marta earlier, we were just talking about somebody who was doing that. I said, women should have a special council where you get to like kick them out of the club and stone them to death when they do that kind of shit, because the kind of shit that causes for women to have people out there that have falsely accused people as a fucking weapon. It's like, that's going to come up every time that a real victim has been victimized.
Yep.
It's
You know,
silences
their
the
lawyers are
victims,
going to
is what
bring
it
that
does.
up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and like, I mean, even like if we look at the real world example that's happening now with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, I mean, that man lost so much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of false accusations. And I don't know too much about the trial, so I don't know if she like accused him of like, you know, like sexual assault, but
Yeah,
I
she
do
did.
know that, you know, she defamed him.
Yeah. Well, I've
You know.
unfortunately paid too much attention to that, but at one point she was going, well, you just call the police and see who believes that a man was assaulted by a woman. Just see if that works. It's just like going off, and it's like, well, fuck. A lot of women think that shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's scary, and I just feel bad for the people who that happened to, and then they feel like, oh, well, shit, well, this person made a mockery out of this, so now no one's going to believe me. You know, it's just a vicious cycle that it causes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we ever covered it on this show. Azzy, can you knock it off? God damn it. Just quit barking at the cat. But it's not just women. We had a thing go on in one of the other occult communities on Facebook or something, and this guy called me up like yelling at me because I would not condemn my friend Christian Day, the guy that puts on Hexfest, and he said in that conversation, he sexually assaulted me. And so later he called me back. And at that point, I had learned that Louisiana was a one-party consent state, and that I could record my phone call. So I put it on speakerphone, and I recorded the phone call. I said, so before you told me that Christian Day sexually assaulted you. What the fuck does that mean? You have to elaborate. You can't just throw these vague charges out at people. He said, well, he was telling people back in Salem that he had sex with me. And that was it. And well, dude, you know, that's not okay. If he fucking did that, it's not, maybe it's sexual harassment. That's not sexual assault. And you're going around fucking throwing this shit all over the fucking internet. That's some fucking bullshit. So, guys do it too.
Yeah, no, everyone does it. You know, I mean, especially that's unfortunately, I've seen that happen to many of my friends with other, like, their boyfriends, you know, and like, these were men who were a little bit older, a little bit more established, and they were dating these younger guys, and these guys would try to, like, blackmail them and say, oh, well, you know, if you don't give me the XYZ, I'm going to say that you sexually assaulted me, you know, and so I've seen it firsthand. It's really disgusting, and people don't think, they think of the initial, I think, like, reaction and the initial consequence, but they don't think about the life-changing consequence that it can hold.
Yeah. Or, you know, what it does to actual victims.
Yes.
Back in my activist days, there were several prominent activists taken out of activism based on charges like that. And the one time that they tried to do it to me, I was polyamorous and extremely active, and three to four women in the room like immediately jumped up and said, "No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. I had to jump on that guy. I had this thing for like aggressive women. Marta was one of the only women that I was with that wasn't like that. And just at that time,
because I've got all that Leo pride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But back in my activist days, these were strong activist women, and that's what I liked about them. And nobody ever did I ever approach unwarranted. Literally, there was several women that just kind of threw me down and fucked me, so which was cool. And I wouldn't be cool probably, if a man did that to a woman, but still, just there were so many women that immediately called bullshit that thing was stopped. But I saw several, and back then I was always wondering, it's like, well, okay, we're activists, and the activism that we're doing is effective. Is that bitch an FBI agent? About 10 years later, through Freedom of Information Acts, we found out they absolutely were. 3 of them were absolutely working for the fucking FBI, and that was their job. So they were actually whores for the FBI because they actually fucked them. They actually fucked them, and then FBI whores.
Jesus.
The stuff you hear on Witterson.
I just got
You didn't see the show going this way, did you?
I just got a Twitter alert that said Amber Heard's witnesses are testifying. Or about
Have
to.
you guys watched her fuck his new lawyer or his lawyer, that younger Hispanic lady? She's like tearing Amber Heard a new asshole. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I've seen it, quite a few of those. I think even TikTok has the live feed. If you look at your lives when the court is live. Well, I guess
and now
I'm probably following.
I guess what I wonder is now what else is going on though besides this? Because I guess I'm a big person who looks at everything. You know what I mean? And so I feel like a lot of our attention is being drawn to this case. So I want to know what else is going on.
Well, we definitely have been paying less attention to the Ukraine war.
Yeah.
It's still raging on.
That Jocelyn, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, I guess her charges got reduced by 10 years when all this is happening too, which no one paid any attention to.
Yeah, I didn't even.
I missed
stopped
that.
paying attention to all that.
Wow. Yeah. That's probably part of it.
Okay, so it's live. Her witnesses.
Wow. Well, hell, dude.
We are but sheep.
We are about at the end of this show. And
Yeah.
see, you didn't think you had a lot to talk about. There you were, talking up a storm. So we'll have you back on when you open your shop, or if you do something else really cool.
Yeah, do something cool.
So on TikTok, he's Tio Brujo, which is of course Brujo. He's a brujo, not a bruja.
BRUJEAO.
EAUX.
Yeah,
EAUX. Yeah, see, if you ever want to change your name again, just spell hoodoo the New Orleans way. Put the EAUX instead of the OO.
For brujo.
Huh?
For
you could do it for brujo, too.
You can't do that for hoodoo.
What? Hoodoo?
You can't spell it that way. It's an O sound.
Oh, you're right.
Only
okay,
brujo.
never mind. The thing I came up with is just not going to work. So don't do that. But you can still use it for brujo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ho.
Oh my god. So yes, at TikTok at TIO_BRUJO.
You got a place, you do readings. Is there a place where people contact you for readings and shit too?
Yeah,
or they do it?
So I am, right now if you need a reading, you can obviously hit me up in my Instagram DMs. I do cards as well as hydromancy. Hydromancy is a little bit more pricier, but all readings are just based on a consultation, which is free. And then those will also be available when I set up my shop.
So let me ask you about the hydromancy. So that's with water, right?
Yep. Yep.
And so that's not. I haven't heard of that actually at all. So tell us a little bit about what that process is.
Yeah, so the process is what I do is I take my candle that's on my Santa Muerte altar because I kind of like working not with her, but I'm asking her to guide my divination, and I'll take a question and I'll write it on a petition paper, burn the question with a candle, and then I take my mortar that I use to ground up a lot of my herbs. It's what I use mostly in my magical workings versus like my shop stuff. And I'll burn the paper in there. And then I let the ashes fall in a thing of water. And I kind of read how the ashes fall, how they interact with each other. And that's kind of how I get my message.
That sounds really
Nice.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
So,
Hydromancy.
Hydromancy.
Cool.
All right, well, you can get readings. He's going to have a shop soon.
yeah.
God, there was something I was going to ask, but I don't remember what the fuck it was. So, well, I guess we're going to go. Well, thanks for coming on. T.O. Brujo. Oh, that's what I was going to ask. Your Instagram, is it T.O._Brujo?
Yep, so it's the same except the O is a 0 because, someone got that name already, girl.
All right.
So that's why you do the EAUX.
See, I don't even think I'm following him on Instagram. I didn't know this.
Wow.
The stuff I learned on Wittershins, man.
Yeah.
It's valuable shit. All right, y'all.
All right,
Thanks
y'all.
for coming on.
Yep.
Thank
See y'all.
you.
Merry meet, merry part, merry meet again, all that shit. T.O. Brujo on Wittershins Radio. So, Wittershins comes to you typically Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Central Time. We take off whenever the fuck we want to take off. And if you follow us on Facebook, Wittershins Radio, you'll find out when we're going to take the night off and that kind of thing. All right? Wittershins. We'll see you next time.
Of all the money that e'er I had, I've spent it in good company. And of all the harm that e'er I've done, alas, was done to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memories now I cannot recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Of all the comrades that e'er I had, they're sorry for my going away. And of all the sweethearts that e'er I had, they wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise while you should not, I will gently rise and I'll softly call. Good night and joy be with you all. Oh, if I had money enough to spend, and leisure time to sit a while, there is a fair maid in this town that surely has my heart beguiled. Her rosy cheeks and ruby lips, she alone has my heart in thrall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise while you should not. I will gently rise, and I'll softly call. Good night and joy